Hi everybody, my name is Sukaja. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to be doing a book haul wherein I show you the books that I purchased when I went for the Lock the Box sale, which was conducted by Book Chor in Bangalore. And I went last weekend for this sale and I managed to purchase 8 books, and it was quite an effort because it was pretty crowded. You had to wear a mask and follow protocol. So how this sale works is that they have 3 different size boxes. So I picked the smallest box and that cost 1,200 rupees. You just pay for the box, you don't pay for the books. You pay for the box and then you go into the sale and then you fit as many books as you can into that box, and provided it closes and they're able to put a tape over it successfully, that means you can take the box home. You can take whatever books you managed to fit into your box. I'm going to show you the 8 books that I managed to buy. This is the box. This is the small size box costing 1,200. I've unfortunately opened this already because I kind of did a previous take for this video wherein I show the unboxing part of it, but unfortunately my camera was not shooting then. I thought it was, but then it wasn't on video mode. I don't have the unboxing bit of that, but just pretend I have now used a knife and unboxed my book box, right? I'm going to just show you some random books in random order. So the first book I have here is The Storyteller's Secret by Sejal Badani. Now this is a book I saw quite a few copies of over there, and this is a book that was recommended to me by my friend from Spain. She's finished reading this and she wants to know my perspective on this, so I decided to pick this up. It's about this girl called Jaya who works as a journalist in New York City, and she's married. She's an eager student of culture, and there's some history that is there that she needs to unearth, and her grandmother lived during the British occupation, so that's what this book is mainly about, and I'm excited to read this. Then I also got Gone Girl because again there were a lot of copies of Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. I've read one of her short novellas and I really enjoyed them. I forget what it's called right now, but I've reviewed it on the channel. And I haven't read any other Gillian Flynn? I don't know how it's pronounced. I haven't read any of her other books, but this is a book I'm probably going to have to give it a bit of a clean up because none of these books look really new. They're all a little bit oldish. Not to say that they're secondhand, but probably these are the books that didn't get bought in another part of the world. This is a thriller, and I think a lot of you might know about this already because it is a book that was made into a feature film, I'm assuming. I still haven't watched that, but I think considering the kind of books that I've read in the month of June, I think a thriller is right up my street at this point, and therefore not regretting having bought this book. The next book I bought is Umberto Eco's The Name of the Rose. Now this is a book that a lot of literature students have read already and I believe is on the shelves of a lot of literary enthusiasts, and therefore I decided this ought to be on my shelf as well. Not that I'm going to read this because I also heard that it's quite dense. Am I in that frame of mind where I really want to get into something dense right now? I'm not sure. But then again, might be in the future, so you never know. Keeping the doors open, and therefore decided to pick this up. I also know that he's written a book called Foucault's Pendulum. I don't know much about this one. I'm assuming it has something to do with writing and literature. It's going to be a bit abstract philosophical, perhaps. Those are my expectations. If you've read this, let me know what your thoughts were in the comments down below. I also bought Prem Chand's Stories on the Village. And this was a book, I think, that's published by Penguin, and it was in really good condition. I like the idea of reading short stories translated from Urdu. I don't have any Urdu writers on my shelves, and this is by someone who largely contributed to the Urdu canon. In this book, he writes stories that showcase his love for the countryside, idyllic village life, written with its own issues. Something that will probably humble me when I read it, so that's the point of buying this book. I went on the first day of the sale. I felt like I needed to make decisions quickly and go around and look at everything quite quickly because you never know when someone just picks it off, right? And then it's gone. So overall, they didn't have much great choice when it comes to new releases. They did have a lot of backlist titles of some of the popular authors, and that's where I kind of did my book shopping. I do have a couple of backlist titles by Margaret Atwood. Now, I've only read Margaret Atwood's Handmaid's Tale, and I did read the graphic novel, but I enjoyed it. I'm just assuming that I will be reading more of Margaret Atwood in the future. So I did buy Hagseed by Margaret Atwood. Nice thing about this, it has the lovely end papers and it's in pretty decent condition, so I thought, this is a good copy to have. And I think this one is about the theatre and the arts. I'm excited to read this at some point. Also got another book by Margaret Atwood, The Blind Assassin. I have another book of hers which is about a spy. I forget the name, but it was made into a Netflix adaptation. Today my brain is just not working when it comes to recollecting the backlists of authors and stuff. Alias Grace. I have Alias Grace on my shelves as well. I'm assuming that this is going to be something along those lines. It's a little thick, but I think it's good to have a copy of this one. This is about a woman named Iris Chase. It's about a death that happens on mysterious circumstances, and it's got a lot of secrets in it. It's set in the panoramic backdrop of the 20th century. So I think this should be interesting. Now I'm a little excited because the 3 books I have in here are actually books that I think will be really good reads. So I'm predicting that they will be 4 or 5 star reads, right? Here is Cloud Atlas by David Mitchell, which is a book that was on my wish list for quite some time. My husband recommended this to me and I haven't yet watched the movie, but I did really enjoy reading The Slade House by David Mitchell. So I'm excited to pick this up. Now, this looks like it's come all the way from England because it says 3 for 2 at Waterstones, which is an English book selling chain. So I don't know how that ended up in Book Chor's sale. I don't know from where they're sourcing their books. I don't know if I'll be going for another sale because I've gone for 2 years now. This was the second year and I wasn't too happy with the overall selection. And let me know if you beg to differ and if you felt that it's a treasure trove of books and it was amazing for you, and let me know what you did, what tricks worked at this book sale so that I can implement the same. This is a book about 6 people's lives in the 19th century and goes up till a post-apocalyptic future. This author erases the boundaries of time and language to offer an enthralling vision of humanity's will to power and where it will lead us. So I'm pretty excited to read this. Now the next book I have here is a book that was a really good find. I didn't see too many copies of this. Patrick Ness, and The Ocean Was Our Sky. And it's illustrated by Rowena Kai. So this is a book that was inspired by Moby Dick, right? The famous classic novel, and it does have some illustrations in it, like this one. So I was pretty happy to find this, and I personally enjoyed reading Monster Calls by Patrick Ness, which was again illustrated. It was a lot of fun, and I enjoyed that sweet YA fiction. So I'm assuming this is along the same lines, and it says here that there's a character in this named Bathsheba, whom I know is a very famous figure in literature. I'm gonna have to stop talking because there's an ambulance outside and you can probably hear the siren. This has to do with myth and a ship getting attacked and a world of whales and men. It's a haunting tale of power and obsession that turns the story of Moby Dick upside down. Now, if that wasn't enough to sell you, then I don't know what is. I've told you about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 books, and I happened to manage to get a 9th book in my box. So you can imagine I didn't pay much for all these books. Now, the 9th book is my favorite of the lot. This is Eileen by Ottessa Moshfegh. Now, I have read and enjoyed Ottessa Moshfegh's My Year of Rest and Relaxation, which was a hit around Instagram during the pandemic, during lockdown especially. It was dark comedy. So I think this is going to be interesting because this is also her debut novel. This was shortlisted for the National Book Critics Award, so it was a finalist. So I'm assuming it was a good book. And love the cover, love this edition. I'm going to read this and then get back to you on my thoughts. Those are all the books I got. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think, which ones I should start reading first, which ones I can put off until later. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Would appreciate that. We'll be back with more bookish content soon. In the meantime, stay safe, stay sane. Bye.